This profound, intricate sound carries generations and generations. It is more than music, it is memory, it is connection. My name is Linus Wengara Magaya of Nungu Porcupine Tribe, and I am deeply connected to Mbira music and Zimbabwean spiritual culture as a Yila Shikiro. This project is an invitation to explore how our culture has evolved and how it continues to evolve with Mbira at its heart. This is an introductory film for a series that will explore various themes in Zimbabwean spiritual culture and Mbira music. We will also be carrying this project around few cities in the UK, and please follow the project for more details. The topics we'll explore in videos include the culture of totems connecting us to the song Gore Kore, the history of snuff bute or smokeless tobacco connecting us to the song Fojga, the meanings and beliefs around water spirits connecting us to the song Chigwaya. And by using the song Chaminuka Ndimambo, we will consider the values and places around this prophet of Zimbabwe. We might get a little controversial when discussing the impact of Christianity on our Zimbabwean traditional culture. Speaking about our culture, we are often referring broadly to the Zezuru Shona peoples of Zimbabwe, a diverse group with shared roots that stretch back centuries. Now, the spiritual traditions connected to Mbira are ancient, but the way we experience Mbira music today is surprisingly modern. There is not just one Mbira in Zimbabwe. There are many types with different histories. These include Matepe, Dzavandau, Njari, Nyunga, Dongonda, Mavembe, and many more. But mostly, when we talk about Mbira, people will think of this type, known as the Mbira Dzavadzimu. The Mbira Dzavadzimu has long been associated with spiritual ceremonies, particularly the Mbira ceremony, where music becomes a bridge between the living and the ancestors. Before I go further, I would like to demystify the word Dzavadzimu. Dzavadzimu means of the ancestors. I agree with other spiritual thinkers that the word Dzavadzimu should actually be applied more broadly to spiritual practice. If we only use it for Mbira Dzavadzimu, how about Chimbo Dzavadzimu? Meaning to say walking sticks for the ancestors. How about Ngoma Dzavadzimu? Meaning to say handy drums for the ancestors. How about Wosho Dzavadzimu? Which means shakers for the ancestors. So the word Dzavadzimu, it's a describing word, it's an adjective. And also it is a plural word, it's not singular. So when we say Mbira Dzavadzimu, we're not only talking about one Mbira, we're talking about more than one Mbira. It's from two onwards. So everything that you describe using the word Dzavadzimu, you're describing more than one thing. And also that word played a bigger role before colonization. At that time, the ancestral world was dominant to the Zezuru or Shona speaking people of Zimbabwe. So the word Dzavadzimu was popular in its days. In the past, only certain tribes were renowned for playing Mbira. Mbira was not as widespread as it is today. So these few tribes would be highly regarded and would be hired to come and perform for spiritual ceremonies throughout the country. But Mbira was not only the source and means for people to run ceremonies at the time, since there were few tribes. People still relied on other genres that were existing before Mbira was discovered. The other tribes would be using a cappella singing style, as well as playing a lot of percussions, drumming, shakers, and many wooden sticks and many ways of playing the ceremony. And those genres are still existing today. The names of genres, some of the names are Mande, Bakumba, Line, Mchongoyo, Mbende, which is now called Jerusalem by others, Chinyambira, and many other types of genres that were played, which are still existing today. Now we're talking about colonial challenges. During the colonial period, our Zimbabwean traditions came under pressure. The spiritual practices, cultural identity were completely discouraged by colonial powers and suppressed through Christianity, yet Mbira music did not disappear. It remained as a quiet but powerful symbol of identity, resilience, and continuity. In the years leading to independence and beyond, Mbira music began to rise again, not only in spiritual ceremonies, but in public life. It was introduced to schools, recordings were broadcast on radio stations. It became a symbol of national identity. And through big artists like Dr. Thomas Mafumo Mukanya, Mbira music reached new audiences, carrying messages of resistance and cultural pride. Now, we are going to look at resurgence and popularity. Today, Mbira music is played more widely than ever across different communities, across generations, and increasingly across the world. People are not only learning to play Mbira, but also seeking to understand the spiritual and cultural knowledge behind it. This is why we can think of Mbira culture as a living legacy. At the heart of this culture, it's a simple but profound idea to honor those who came before us, to bring their wisdom into the present, and to carry it forward into the future in a world shaped by technology, speed, and constant change. Many people are searching for something deeper, a sense of connection, a sense of meaning, and a sense of belonging. But Mbira offers a way back and a way forward. This project is not just about music, it is about our culture, it is about our history, it is about spirits, and it is about listening to what was passed down and discovering what it means today. I hope this space will share a deeper insight within our culture, and in doing so, contribute to the living legacy of Mbira.